Great. Thank you, Amy, for allowing me to record this session and make it public for learning purposes. So what we are going to do today is use Lego pieces to help you identify your emotions, your thoughts around a case, a client case that we can work together on today. So before even I start to asking you about a client, I would like you to look at the pieces in front of you, and I'm sure you have some. Oh, you have some in your bucket. That's great. And I have as well some here. Look at those pieces and maybe take a deep breath and think about what's present for you at the moment. What are you feeling? What you're thinking about? And just pick up a piece that identifies with what you're present. What are you present to at this moment?
Okay, I have a piece.
Yes, if you can show me the piece.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It
Oh,
has a heart in it.
that's lovely. Tell me a little bit about what you are present to.
I am very present to relationships. I am a very high I, so it's important to me to build relationships and to do it carefully and to do it safely for my clients in that world. Um, I lead with my heart. I lead with my intentions. So immediately when I saw the heart, that's what stuck out to me, and that's why I grabbed this piece that has the heart in the middle.
Very beautiful. Thank you for sharing this with me. And I feel honored that you have brought in the relationship and the heart. It's a good moment as well to ask you if there's anything here in this space that can make you feel more comfortable.
No, I'm excited actually. When you said we were doing an activity, I just it engaged me immediately.
Yes, yes. And that's what working with objects, toys, Legos does to the brain and to the heart. It just actualizes things in the moment and helps you process your thoughts. So, what I'm present to today is this piece, which I have done minutes ago in another session. And it represents me reaching out and being flexible with many eyes. So I really love the idea. I just found 3 eyes in my set. So if I had more eyes, I would put it on. I
I
am
like that
right.
idea.
Thank you. I am right now present to this emotion of helping and supporting and reaching out um, to you, especially in this session. So having said that, are you ready to present your case to me, your client case? Do you have a client in mind?
I do. I do want to comment on your Lego representation. What I
Yeah.
like is that when you talked about flexibility, is to be able to shift those eyes and in different perspectives, and bringing that to the sessions with my clients is to be able to recognize if I'm not pivoting, or if my client is stuck with one eye on that, and doesn't move. So that I really like that one.
Which one? 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
We might get a cat visit because
Yeah,
whenever I get on my
please. That
computer,
even helps more because I don't know where's my cat, but they add this. Can I see her?
yes, come here. Come here. Oh, well,
Yeah.
she'll do it as soon as I don't want her to.
That's what the cats do as well. They have their own thing. Good, good,
She's
good.
curious what I'm playing about. All right, so my client.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client that I find her extremely high performing in her experiences with life. So much so that early on we identified that perhaps the fear of succeeding, because she typically does succeed. And so I've noticed that she's capable and she knows it and she has the competencies and she's got the direction, but sometimes won't get off her feet. And I think from our discussions, it has to do with being an overachiever and always succeeding, that she's having trouble sometimes moving off of a point.
Perfect. So, if you would like now to demonstrate through the Lego that you have um, different features of your clients, I would give you some time to build that. But you can also build and talk through it. And if you like to direct the camera towards your Lego a little bit, it will help everyone see what you're doing.
Okay, I'll do this, but give me a second. You know what? I'm going to take the blur off.
Yeah, it might help showing. Yeah, it doesn't show with the blur, unfortunately.
So now you get to see my house.
Yes, perfect. Beautiful. And you
Okay.
have a Rubik.
Yeah, I bring these sometimes to workshops. So when people want to fiddle, so it's in my Lego bag. All right, what I'm building, what I'd like to build, and what came to my mind is is she's built these layers of competencies. She's had a lot of experiences, a lot of successes. She's, high up. And so here she is. And here's
Mm,
my loving bridge. And what I want to do, if I had another stack, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And let's put a little platform on it. Similar. And I don't intend for it to be a lower. Maybe I'll add another layer on there, but because it's and then sometimes that happens where everything just falls apart when you had the best intentions.
It's okay. You
And
can take as much time as you want building something that helps the meaning
okay,
you're trying to explain.
I want to add heights.
And I'm going to also start building something while you're talking
Okay,
that
so
relates to maybe how I am perceiving your case.
all right, a little bit higher, much higher. Oh, and I have eyes. I have eyes too. Maybe I'll use those too. Oh, I'm beginning to really like this because it's making me think of other ways to view a situation.
Mm-hmm. And I'll let you build a little bit in silence, and then you can tell me about the case, the situation, and the intervention, and also what are you feeling challenged about? If there's anything that comes to your mind, your feelings um, in terms of moving forward. So we're gonna have a great time discussing your case while playing seriously.
Excuse me. All right. I think I have it in ways that I want it.
Nice.
Clear the playing field here. That is symbolic of clearing my mind and clearing out the clutter.
Yes.
And so what I see is very competent, can usually bridge a gap between things that she's comfortable with, things that have a lower impact decision type things. But where I think getting from this side to this side, sometimes she puts a block, which is the Rubik's Cube. It's it's feeling like the Rubik Cube has to be all the same color on every side before moving over to the next side. And I think because she's been so successful, she usually has the Rubik Cube all in order. But I think now I'll never get the Rubik's Cube back. But I think this is sometimes what she feels like is that I think that she might think that I cannot move over to the next one until the colors are aligned. And being able to recognize or have tools that kind of what's the cutoff? What is the amount of messiness that you can tolerate in moving forward before you can get on that bridge and go through, and me as maybe a conduit or to help her see see either different options or just to self-awareness, what is tolerable to you as far as the unknowns and the fear that it might fall.
Okay. So, and I see you've positioned yourself in the middle on top of the Rubik, between her and her reaching her achievement. Can you talk a little bit to that?
I sure can. Just trying to get okay. Let's go. Interesting that you say that. I didn't put deliberate thought into that. But obviously I was thinking that it was my not responsibility, but it would be my place to help her see this, this state of affairs or state of being or an operating to this one is that I would play a part in help crossing that bridge. Obviously I'm not a teacher, I'm not a therapist or a guider, but to help her see or question things about her foundation that might help either identify something from her past. Maybe she grew up as a super high achiever all her life and she was always recognized for it, and when she doesn't, she feels guilty or shame or something. So I think I put myself in the middle with heart, is to be compassionate about things that might come up about the confusion in the Rubik's Cube, or to help her identify what is tolerable. So I guess that's why I put myself there. And when you asked the question, I wondered, well, would it be different if it were like this and I stood behind her? Can you guys see that? And so it's not me, which is interesting. It's not me doing the actions. I'm just a background person. I'm not a driver of her spirit. Maybe I should be the supporter. Would be interesting.
Okay. So I want to ask you a question in relation to what we are trying to achieve today. If you can just pull the camera back a little bit so we can see you and the model, or if it's just the model, then just The model. No, now we can see it. We can't see the model, but we can see you. It's okay. You wanna raise it up. Oh, yeah,
Kitchen.
that is a very creative idea. I appreciate that. Thank you. That is very appreciated. So now you've placed yourself a little bit back so that she and her goal are closer to each other, right?
Ooh, oh. Well,
Yeah.
I haven't decided where.
Okay. So tell me, what is it we are trying to do today in this supervision session?
It's always, as long as we've been doing this, it's always a difficult question. Um, and I don't know why. I think what I would like to do with respect to this client is to let her operate in such a way that she can do this without, like, she could fix her Rubik's cube. So when we do end our coaching relationship, that she will have memories of me in the back, and ideas of things, memories of our conversations actually, and the compassion, and maybe, some awareness that she achieved, and that she would be able to operate or make those jumps without having to explore every time, you know.
Hmm.
That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. So in our session today, your question would be?
My question, I'm not sure. I don't, it seems to me like my question should be, how do I pull back out of this? And how do I know um that this would work? I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And it sounds like an exploration of what options do you have to make her more independent, I guess. Is that a good word to use?
I hear you. I don't want to give the impression she's not independent, because she does many, many things very well.
Okay.
It seems to me, actually, what my goal probably wouldn't, my end goal, because I don't have a forever with her. Um, I think it would take a lot of different resources like coaching, or um, you know, self-awareness, maybe even, somebody to talk with about maybe deep-seated fears, or past reactions. Um, I guess instead of that is how my what I would like to know is, how do I get to a point where I want to get her to be okay with the Rubik's Cube? And I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Okay. So that her situation, the challenges that she faces, is not always perfectly done for her to cross to the other side.
Yes. When is good enough good enough?
Hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned fear twice in this conversation. When you were explaining about how competent she is, and if you can hold her in your hand again and show me like how many layers of competencies she has built over the years.
So, I mean, even as she comes from a very supportive background. Parents are still together. They were, good morals, good values. She's educated. She's um, um has good heart and spirit, and is good listener, and has done well at work, and has moved up in the government. And so she has a lot. I wouldn't say these are holes. These are entries, maybe, in her, maybe like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or something like that. These are they've built upon each other with opportunities for experience. So she's pretty competent. When I say fear, I think it came out early, and it comes out because she's also an oldest child. Um, Everybody has come to refer to her or to believe her to be, just ask her. She can do it. She can do anything. She can handle all the stress. Like, everybody thinks that she's the superwoman in the family, and it puts a lot of pressure on her to continue to provide those positive, successful things and not mar her position in her family by not living up to being the one who can always get things done. And so that, I think, when I hear her use words that connotate fear, it's about letting people down, and and a strong need to be successful at anything she tries.
Mm. So while you were describing her in the beginning, I was building, I found myself doing this, which is kind of like a spiral going up. But then when you spoke about fear, I looked down to see what is in my toolkit that looks like fear. And I found this little door that felt, it can open, but it's a little bit stuck. And I don't know if fear represents in my heart that I feel it right now. Like, would this be okay if I do that and go in? So that's kind of how I feel right now, the door, rather than the building when fear was spoken of her feelings. And I'm wondering, how does that feel for you when I'm talking about what I feel?
I
What
wish
does
I
it
had a door too. I'm going to pretend like this is my door.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend like this is my door. I think that I'm going to remove myself out of the equation. I think she has multiple doors
Okay.
of moving from one to the other. I think there are doors that she's done all her life. People in her family come and ask her for help. They ask her for money. They ask her for, lots of things. And that door has been open. It's pretty greased, and she lives up to it. Then I think that there's a second door that has, it opens, but you got to have a key, maybe, a cipher lock, and she knows it, and she can open it and close it. It's not difficult. It doesn't take relearning things. It doesn't take a lot of risk. So that one opens. And then there's that door like you had. It will open. It takes a lot. I think it sucks a lot, or many unused. No, I know there will be a word for this. Um, it would take work like out of your
Oh,
comfort zone, or to push that door open, and building that strength and confidence that, it's the furthest door, it's the one that's hardest to open, it's the one that might lead to, I think every door open would lead to something eventually positive, but it could lead to an unknown where that's not what I wanted to come out of this. Let's just say, uh, as a weird example, bankruptcy. I know that my finances are bad, and I know I need to open that door, but I'm scared. I'm
mm,
going to let people down. Um, you know, my reputation, but I know that getting on the other side is going to work. But she'd have to change things like budget money.
Yeah.
you know, pay off debt. And those kind of things make that not a very attractive endeavor to put a lot of your energy and time in when you could just subsist with just doing your work that you know how to do, just doing everything you know how to do, but getting stuck here.
That's an interesting analogy of the several doors, the easy that opens so quickly, the one that's requires a key, a little bit of hard work, and the last one that is stuck and hard. And I am wondering right now if any of these doors resembles anything that in your life as a coach.
Sure. I think that my core personality type things are easy to do. It's easy for me to be very friendly. Not all my family um is as warm and flexible and tolerant, and so it's easy, and people always say we bring in the family together and have a way to work through things. So those are easy doors for me. The middle doors are like this coaching, and where there's a lot of room for improvement. I'm eager. I'm not afraid to walk through those doors. They may be challenging. I may have to work at it. I may have to get a certification. I may, you know, whatever it is, a different degree. But I'm willing, and I have that door too. This door of unknowns, a little bit, I tend to push the door and peek in a lot. And sometimes I'll walk through because I think that anything that's been put in my path I can handle. So I'll tend to
Mhm.
walk in there, but I don't, that's a lot of hard work and a lot of energy sucking. And it takes away from my ability to maintain this door at 100%, this door at 100% of effort and energy and caring. When this one seems almost, the reward would be high, but it's, a long-term investment.
Mm.
Like moving my parents in with me because they're both sick. You know, that should have been a really hard door to open, and I think I just opened it, and I should have taken a little bit more time to figure out what I was getting myself into.
Uh-huh.
But I tend to
You did
just
it
do it.
anyway.
I
Yeah.
did it anyways.
So how do you see your client in that respect? Her ability to open the last door. Is
I
it
think she's standing in front of it, and and this may seem kind of a weird analogy too. I think she's standing in front of it, smelling it, touching it. Is it hot? Is the handle hot? Okay, it doesn't seem so hard. Kind of looking under it, looking in the keyhole. Um, but I feel like she wants definite answers before she'll walk through it. She wants
Yeah.
more assurances. Um, I think she feels that she has a lot, and I don't even know if they're values, but a lot to lose if walking through that door doesn't go well.
Yeah. So
Pride,
yeah,
ego.
so that door would lead to the other side in your perspective as a coach. What does that mean in the coaching intervention?
I guess in any of the coaching, if I were to use this analogy, that all my clients are, I meet them where they are. There's nothing wrong with them. They're okay the way that they are. And that when we do goal development or action planning or whatever they want to achieve, I think for every independent situation, whether it's getting promoted or how to be a good public speaker, let's use public speaking. This door is, I can speak to you like this. I'm publicly speaking right now. I can walk through that door every day. I can talk to my bosses or whatever. This door is giving presentations to your team. It's a little uncomfortable. I can get better, but I'll walk through it. And then this last one is when you set a goal where you have to give an all staff, conversation to 150 people,
Mm,
so every independent situation has these multiple doors, just figuring out where
right.
they are and what in their foundation, are they aligned? Are they completely missed, with every different color on it? Do they, have they set their goals? Do they have the skills and technology and resources? Do they have the money or whatever it is, the opportunities to do it? That's kind of how I feel about this model.
Mm. So if we look from a top view at this situation, and we're looking right now from one side, but if we can change the direction of things on the table, whereby you feel more comfortable um, to different perspective, what would that angle be?
I'm wondering, I feel like I want to change your word, but you could have intentionally picked that word. You said change my perspective. I wanted to insert the word gain a skill. How
Ah,
instead of a different perspective is, and maybe I've been a consultant way too long, 25 years, facilitating consultant. And I feel like maybe I'm entering this hard door that I should.
I'm
Yeah.
going, I'm going
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah. Um,
Change my question. What question would it be useful right now?
well, I would love to know how I can help, and not just with this client, but with any client, like confidence. I find that one a hard one. Um, when, and I've always found that a hard challenge when I have a client who really wants to work on their courage and their confidence. And what I want to do naturally is hug them, um, you know, because I can feel that it's a feeling thing for me. It's not a cognitive thing for me, and so sometimes I just don't know how I could affect that. How I could engage where they would walk out saying, "Well, I guess they do." I mean, we get evaluations, and I at the top, mostly at the top of the evaluations of being an effective coach for that, for those 12 sessions that we had or whatever. I just want them to be confident and happy. And sometimes I just feel like I can't help them believe in themselves. And I want them
Mm.
to.
Well, right now I am feeling I was climbing, and then I hit that door again. I just don't know at this moment how can I be more supportive to you in exploring how you can help your clients.
I think
I
you
feel.
described how I feel about me being in your situation. I feel like you just described. I don't know how to help at this moment, except for ask questions and be supportive and help point out, successes and look at steps for achieving an action, which would lead to confidence. Um, I don't know, maybe it's just I don't know my goal. Maybe maybe I as a coach, and I'm not as well practiced as you are by any stretch of the imagination. Um, maybe I need to come to terms with what is my role. w- what's good enough for me, in every coaching session. Maybe I'm just like her. I want everything to be perfect. I've been a good consultant and produced. I want, maybe it's that I don't get to see the results because those happen outside of my realm.
Yeah. So at the moment, I just picked up something and it fell. The door fell. The whole tower fell.
We got rid of the doors.
So I picked up a window and I want to see if there is something in the window that could help me at this moment, support you. And I'm wondering how does that feel for you, me holding this window, trying to support you? How does it feel for you?
To be honest, for you specifically, because other people could be holding windows too, like our CEO. I don't like that window. I don't want to be watched. Um, I think for you specifically, I've always known there was a window. I've always known that within the coaching realm, because I've coached with you, that I always have a window with access to you, with something that you may have said, I can just look out that window and you're in there going,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I'm probably not answering what you intended, but it is a comforting image to know that I always have that window, and then I've had that impact, and I've opened that and I breathed that air, and I can open that window and the other windows that I have of people who supported me. So that's a positive thing for me.
So could that be also the case of your client, that they're looking for a window that you can hold for them so that they can breathe?
I'd have to think about that, and that's that it's a good image in my mind that every coaching session is like, let's open this window and see, let the breeze in, see what stirs around, what's on the other side, what are you looking at, what's keeping you from the window, is there a difference from this side of the window on that
Yeah.
side?
What if it's this? What if it's this? What if it's another side of the room? So I know you don't probably have doors and windows in your set, but if you do, if you can locate a window and put it in your set, where would you put that?
So my window will be, I want to choose a different color. Um, here's my window. All right, I've got a black window. I would want to put a window in the third door. That's what I would want, is that with this specific person, if there were a window that you could see through, it's not as overbearing. You could see where you come from, you're safe, you're not disconnected. Windows could be broken, the door may be metal, but the window could be broken if you need to go back. um it would be nice if she had a window.
I love the
That's
idea of transparency in the window, right? I mean, uh, for her to see, you just said, what's on the other side before she opens the door.
or even to feel safer,
Hmm.
because I think safety has a lot to do with it, and self-image is fear, safety, the way that you think about yourself, what you're willing to do and try. It might be a measure of safety, but not every decision is going to have that window. But I guess maybe as a coach is to act as a potential window to a door that's closed.
Mm.
And just, or even ask the questions that would be similar to asking a question about a window. If you had a window into this problem, what do you see on the other side? What's different? What do you like about it? You know, what's scary over there? What do you see? Where are you coming from? What do you have to bring with you? What tools, excavation tools can you bring in a bag when you do choose to open that door?
Mm. That's very resourceful. Resourceful questioning. Yeah. And what do you think she would be feeling about the idea of the window?
I think it would resonate with her because she is very responsive to like analogies and stuff like that. Um, and coming up with really unique things. And I think that this whole analogy would be useful to her. Specifically, how would she feel it? She might feel relief that there's a way to frame it in her brain. So when I'm out of the picture, which I've already taken myself out, is that she can think, well, before I take the step, let me just put a window up myself
Mm.
and imagine. And I'll never know exactly how it's going to turn out when I open that door. But if I pause and look at this and frame it as, which door am I entering? Is this the one I'm always nervous about? So let me pause here and put a window there and say, I had a window here. What do I think is on the other side? What do I see? What does it look like? What does success look like? What am I going to
Okay.
need to be successful?
It sounds like there is some parallel between the window that I've just offered you and the window that you want to offer to your client. And it feels that for me right now, it feels like, here's me, I'm peeking through the window. And I see your cat now. She decided to come. What a
She,
relief.
she's been staring at me, so I know we're almost out of time. I just did that. You can come over for a second.
Okay, so how is everything right now in terms of the case itself, the solution to the case, or the answer to the question you've asked about how do I help my client see that, what they can't see?
I'm so contrary. So I'm not going to answer that question.
Mm.
I'm going to answer a different question. What I experienced in this whole activity was my own little window. It's and I know in our past coaching sessions, I think I always ask, what do I do? I need to figure out something to do. Um, uh, we're human beings, just be. And I think that going through this activity, I'm a lot better than I thought. I have ideas, and I can flex. I could go with the flow. You gave me an idea that, like, your spinning eyes, changing the perspective, is that um, is maybe I keep pausing at a door because I feel like I need to have the answers, and I don't. Maybe I just put a window in it and let them look through it instead of me having to figure out, okay, what's going to
Mhm.
be on this other side? What do I need to do to help them feel more confident to walk through the door? Let's just let them start it. So that's what I got out of this, is that I know a little bit more I than I thought.
And this lands on me in a way that makes me want to fix this, make it straight. Somehow I feel more aligned right now because I don't have to uh, try to struggle. The door fell anyway, so I don't have
Yeah.
the door anymore. All I have is just the window and my spinning eyes, which feels great and liberating. I don't even have to fix myself into a base. I'll just be who I am right now and admit that it felt a little bit difficult to push that door and trying to help you. And then when this came, the window came, it just helped me feel it's okay. We can just look at it. We don't have to open the door totally. And we can look and see what's the possibilities. So I'm so appreciative right now of the time you have given me and the insight.
I really like that the door fell, because why do I need to bring a door into a coaching session? Our client has enough doors on our own. And
Yeah,
so why don't I'm the window bringer and you're the door
yeah.
owner. I don't
Thank
own
you.
these doors.
That's great. And this last comment, it's amazing. Yeah, why do I have to bring door to my clients? They have enough obstacles in their way. So I'm gonna think this is a good moment to stop this supervision, and I'll just give you 1 minute to reflect on the whole process. Would you go through this again, the Lego thing and the practical holding in your hand things?
Absolutely. I think it's creative. It engaged me before we even started knowing that we were going to do something like this. I think a misnomer is a lot of people are afraid to play when we're in the business world, or, what does an SES want to do with playing with Legos?
Yeah.
Not that I'm an SES, but um, I think it was a terrific way to kind of expand the way that you can look at things, or look at it a problem, or explore a problem. I would do this again.
Thank you so much. I'm conscious of your time and that our session has come to an end. So I am going to stop the recording and